Hello everyone, welcome all of you. Welcome to VMR LOGICS. So from today onwards we are going to start a series of sessions on the polity. So the subject polity we are going to cover very exhaustively, very elaboratively all the topics on this subject. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome all of you. Welcome to the lecture of the polity, Indian polity. So I am Rohit, the faculty of polity over here. So we are going to discuss the subject polity. With regard to me, I am having an experience of 8 years for teaching to the students preparing for civil services group 1 and group 2, and I went up to civil services interview 2 times. I have also qualified UGC NET 5 times in MA political science, and I have also qualified 2 times junior research fellowship from the political science itself, and now I am here to discuss the subject polity. Some of you might have aware about me, some of you might known about me in various other online platforms, but here we are going to start this subject polity. So before going to start this subject polity, so how come this subject polity will be helpful for you? How come this subject will be beneficial for you? You know, in your regular life you will be discussing about various kinds of subjects as a competitive examination aspirant. For suppose, if you see, you might have studied about, you might have listened about, history, polity, geography, economy, various subjects. But the subject that will be mostly in news is nothing but this Indian polity. So how come this subject will be mostly in news? For suppose, there will be, for suppose, whenever the Prime Minister of India announces any budget, definitely the finance minister is going to announce the budget. But if he speaks something about the budget, in case of a state, also whenever the state chief minister is announcing any new scheme or policy, for suppose if you see in Telangana, there is a scheme called as Dalita Bandhu, which was introduced as a pilot project in Huzurabad. So that scheme, in order to understand the public policies, for suppose, most of the times there will be a conflict between the governor of the state and chief ministers of the state. This is not the first instance. This has repeated multiple times in the past also. For suppose, in the recent times, there was a clash between the chief minister of the Telangana state and also governor of the Telangana state. And also, there is a clash between the chief minister of the West Bengal and also the governor of the West Bengal. The same thing with respect to Maharashtra. Means the places where, the states where non-BJP ruled states are there is a more possibility of conflicts arising between the governor and the chief minister. Why the conflicts are going to happen? What is the role of the governor? Recently, the governor of the Telangana state said that I am not a rubber stamp, but absolutely she has to be a rubber stamp, because India being a parliamentary form of government, the more powers will be exercised by the chief minister itself. But she has given the statement that I am not a rubber stamp. If she says like that, can we come to a conclusion that really the governor is not a rubber stamp? See, some people might not completely aware of this subject polity. We will start from the level 0. I'll keep each and every person in mind who doesn't have any knowledge on the subject at all. So definitely our subject will slowly go on increasing, and it will make you to learn each and every aspect. See, my way of explanation will be an analogy based explanation. So what is the meaning of analogy based explanation? I'll make a comparison. So before going to say or explain about any concept, I'll explain the same concept in your regular life useful techniques. With examples that you will be encountering mostly in your life, so that you will understand that in a very clear manner. So my reference will be the 0 level aspirant in mind. So by keeping this person in mind, I'll explain each and every concept, and each and every person will become an expert in this subject polity by the end of completion of this lecture polity. And as I told you, with respect to a few examples related to the things that are in news. And sometimes, for suppose, recently the Chief Justice of India, he has announced that there are many vacancies in several other courts in the country. So why are there any vacancies in various courts in the country? So, and who will appoint the judges of the High Court? What is the role of Chief Justice of India with respect to appointment of judges in the High Court? And see, sometimes the Chief Minister of the state will expand the cabinet, expand the ministries. Sometimes he will give ministries to the new people. Sometimes he will take ministries from the old people. Sometimes he will exchange the ministries within themselves. That is news. Sometimes Central Bureau of Investigation, Enforcement Directorate, Central Vigilance Commissioner, National Human Rights Commission. So likewise, there are various aspects which are in news. We need to keep a track on them. We need to keep an idea on them. We need to focus on them. So polity, the subject itself, will consist of two aspects. That is nothing but static part, and there is another one which is called as a dynamic part. Static and also dynamic. So okay, so now we are going to discuss the static and parallelly dynamic. So how can you cover this dynamic part? This dynamic part is nothing but the current affairs. This dynamic part is nothing but the current affairs. You need to update yourself regularly, thoroughly with this current affairs. Then you will become expert in subject, in static subject, and you will also gain perfection in the dynamic subject. But until unless you learn this static part, you will not get perfection in this dynamic aspect. So in order to get perfection in this dynamic aspect, you need to go through the current affairs. And moreover, so the people who are watching this video might be the people preparing for Group 1 or Group 2 in Telangana state, and also Group 1 or Group 2 in Andhra Pradesh also. So exclusively, if we deal about the Group 2 in Telangana state, so in Telangana state, Group 2, from the subject polity, you can expect around 70 marks. You can see, I have written an article in Namaste Telangana. In that Namaste Telangana, you can able to find it out. So how many marks came from the polity in the previous 2016 notification, and also the subjects, the concepts where the more number of questions were being asked. So this is the 75. So generally in paper 2, around 50 marks will be directly from the subject polity, and around 15 marks will be indirectly from the subject polity. How come means? So from the subject society, there will be questions based on the articles. So this 15 marks also indirectly related to this subject polity. And also in the paper 1, there is something called as rights issues. There is something called as rights issues. In this topic, rights issues, in this topic also, you are going to get around 10 marks. The combination of all these things is Telangana Group 2. You can expect around 75 marks from this subject polity. Similarly, in Andhra Pradesh, with regard to Group 2, there will be two procedures. The first stage will be nothing but, that is nothing but prelims. Then after the mains. In prelims, out of the, in prelims, the three papers, 50, 50, 50. Three papers are classified into 50, 50, 50. Out of 50, means out of 150, you can get around 20 questions, 20 to 25 questions from this subject polity at the level of preliminary stage. Similarly, at the mains stage, you can expect around 75 plus marks from this subject polity. So for APPSC, for TSPSC also, there is one round, there you can get around 75. In APPSC, prelims and mains, in prelims around 20 to 25 questions, and in mains 75 questions will be going to be from the subject polity. And see, once after listening to my entire lectures of the polity, once after listening to entire video lectures of this subject polity, so I am challenging you that, or else you will also get confidence that you will definitely going to get around 65 plus marks. You will definitely going to get around 65 plus marks with respect to TSPSC, and also with respect to APPSC. So 85%, 85 to 90% of the questions you will be able to answer. 85 to 95% of the questions the students can easily able to answer them, provided that you have to be thorough with the concepts, whatever the thing we are discussing. Okay, so my teaching will be like a spoon feeding. So polity, the students will seem this subject polity sometimes very difficult. See, whenever you are listening to this subject polity, it is very easy to understand. It seems like this is very easy, I am going to get all the concepts, I am understanding all the concepts easily. But the thing is that it will make you to commit some silly mistakes in the examination. So in the given question itself, you will be going to make some silly mistakes. Why are you going to make some silly mistakes? Means because of the lack of revision. Because people will be in a belief that polity I have learnt very perfectly, polity definitely I am going to get the marks. But the other side of the coin is nothing but, yes, you have read, but if you don't have the proper revision, if you don't have the complete clear understanding on the concepts in the subject, then definitely you are going to fall in the trap of this subject polity. In order to overcome this trap, you need to have a proper thorough revision of this subject polity. For suppose daily, if we are spending to watch the videos around 2 to 3 hours, if you want to watch the videos 2 to 3 hours. So after watching this 2 to 3 hours of videos on an average, spend at least half an hour to go through the each and every concept which we have read. See, generally in the offline lectures, we will be having a possibility that after discussing each and every concept, we will be dictating you the related concepts, or else whatever the concepts I discussed. So you will have the concepts in your mind and you will also have the notes. But in the online lecture or in the virtual lectures, you will not be able to experience 100% offline experience. Even in offline, if the student is not listening to the class, I can understand their expressions, I'll make them to involve in the subject, or else I'll ask them to stand, or else I'll ask him a questions indirectly. Then he will lose his drowsiness. But in case of this online lecture, I may not be able to see your expressions. You may not able to completely, in a fear that sir is watching you. Because if the sir is watching you, definitely the focus from your end will also be more. But in the online lecture, you can pause the video, you can go outside, you can again come back to the lecture, again you can continue watching. There is an advantage and there is a disadvantage also. So in online lecture, the huge disadvantage is nothing but the distraction. So if you get a call, you will pause a video, you will speak in the call, again you will come back to the video. If it is in the offline, if you get a call, you will just keep a phone in the silent mode and you continuously listen to the class. For suppose in the online, 4 hours of video lecture if you want to watch, it will definitely take around 6 hours. But in the offline, 4 hours of video lecture will complete in the 4 hours itself. So that is the advantage and disadvantage. In online, the disadvantage we have discussed, but the advantage is that you can listen to the concept until unless it gets set in your brain. Until unless it gets set in your brain, you can watch it multiple times thoroughly. You can ask the questions directly, personalized questions, etc. But in order to overcome one of the disadvantage to you, I am posting you the notes of mine. I'll post you my notes, because whatever the notes I discussed in the offline campus or else offline classes, so that notes itself I have scanned, I'll also send that to you, so that you can listen to the classes, you can also have a notes of my while after completion of the classes. But at the same time, I am also cautioning you. At the same time, I am also cautioning you that while listening to the class, just keep on writing some running notes. As I told you, in the virtual class, there is more probability of getting distracted, and in the virtual class, there is a more probability of getting sleep. If you go on writing running notes, if you go on writing the things whichever I am saying, it will make you to continuously sync with the subject, sync with the class. Okay, so that's it. So this is all about some cautions before going to start the lecture, and that is about my track record previously. And I told you how many marks the subject polity you are going to get, and how many marks you can easily get from this subject polity. For suppose, see, you might have experienced the subject called Sanskrit in your intermediate. If I ask anyone how many marks did you got in the subject Sanskrit in your intermediate, the most of the answers will be greater than 90. For out of 100, most of the people have got greater than 90 marks. How come most of the people got greater than 90 marks? Because the lecturer who is teaching you, they'll make you by heart, they'll make you to learn to the demand of the examination. Like Ramaha, Ramau, Rame, He Ramaha, Ramasya, Ramau, Rameti. So this kind of things, not exactly, but these things we used to by heart. So without our presence, without our conscious only, we have got 90 plus marks. Similarly, in the subject polity also, after listening to all my videos, you will definitely get a confidence. You will definitely score 65 plus out of 75 marks in the subject polity for both APPSC and TSPSC. It can even increase up to 70 questions also, provided that if your analytical skills are well enough and if you are analyzing the subject in a perfect manner. So this is the thing with respect to this subject polity. Okay, and the things, whatever the things you need to keep in mind while starting the lecture. Next, so generally before going to start any lecture, people will be having a doubt, people will be having a dilemma. What is that? Means, for suppose first lecture, the lecturer will not give any important points in the first day. He will just give insights into the subject, but it's not like that. I'll call my first class as one of the important class, and it is most important than all the classes which I will discuss in the future. So this is the first lecture, and I'll call this as a foundational concepts. Foundational concepts. So what is this foundational concepts? What are we going to learn from this foundational concepts, etc. Okay. So before going to this foundational concepts, we have discussed why this subject polity. Why this subject polity? So tell me why this subject polity is all about. This subject polity is exclusively meant to create awareness among the people. It is exclusively meant to create awareness among the people. What kind of awareness does this subject polity want to create among the people? Awareness means, for suppose, whenever the people knows about their responsibilities and their duties, they can easily start questioning the ruling party members. Whenever an MLA or an MP comes into your constituency just before the elections, these days you can see most of the people are questioning, particularly women are questioning the MLAs. Previously, they themselves used to feel like they are the persons belonging to some other category. Everyone should respect us. Everyone should never speak or never question them. But these days, many people started questioning, starting from the Prime Minister and to the lowest level. So how come are they going to question? Because they are going to get awareness of this subject polity. How come are they going to get this awareness, or what is the way in which they are going to get awareness? Because social media, print media, everywhere they are saying that these are the duties of so and so person. These are the duties of so and so people. So in this manner, you have to question them. So that is the meaning, that is the importance why the awareness is very, very important. So if you speak about this awareness, for suppose, when you are going on a bike, you failed to bring the license or RC along with you. If the police person caught you, and you will be in an intense fear, thinking that this police person may beat me, he may threaten me, what I have to do. But if you know the fact that even though you don't bring the license or RC or anything, you can ask a police to write a challan, and then After a few days or else after going back to the home, you can go and bring the license RC and you can submit that in the traffic police station and you can cancel your challan. So yes, the challan will be fined, but the police don't have any right to threaten you. So likewise, if you have this knowledge, you can easily brave enough to face any consequence while going on the roads. Similarly, in this society, in order to make you to create some awareness, this subject polity will be very much beneficial. Okay, why this subject polity? Next, what this subject all about? What does this subject polity mainly contains of? Mainly people or students believing that polity is nothing but politics. That is completely wrong. Polity is not about politics, but polity is about the constitution. Polity is about the constitution. So indirectly we will be studying about the constitution. So what does this constitution contains? This constitution contains set of rules and regulations. This constitution contains what? Set of rules and regulations. So what exactly is this rules and regulations? Whenever I discuss about these rules and regulations, I used to give examples to the students. For suppose, if you go to a college, if you just go to a college, in this college, on the walls of the college, you can able to see something called as do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. You can see something called as do's and don'ts. So what exactly is these do's and don'ts? Why will you find these do's and don'ts in the boards of the college, on the walls of the college? Why? Because for suppose if you look at the college, for suppose if you just look at an engineering college, if you just look at an engineering college, so here there will be students belonging to first year, second year, third year, fourth year. So different students belonging to different years, and the students will be male and the students will be females, boys and girls, and also there are students who are belonging to different streams. So what is the meaning of students belonging to different streams? For suppose, there will be electrical engineer, biotechnology engineers, chemical engineers, electronics engineers, computer science engineers. So likewise there are different streams. So people belonging to different years, different gender, different streams, when all these people are residing at one particular place, college, so then there is more probability of getting clashes, there is more probability of having clashes within the college. So in order to overcome the clashes in the college administration will post do's and don'ts on the walls of the college. Ragging is strictly prohibited and nobody should sit on the so and so places. The timings of the canteen is only so and so this thing times, in this times only you have to sit in that college canteen. So the rules and regulations each and everyone should follow. So what the college will do with these rules and regulations, what the college will do is nothing but they will establish a kind of peace and harmony in the college, so that it is beneficial to each and every student and it will in turn benefits the college. So that is why the rules and regulations are essential in the college. Similarly, if you look at hospital, so similarly, if you look at the hospitals, similarly on the walls of the hospitals also, you can able to find do's and don'ts. Okay, you can able to find do's and don'ts. So why you can able to find these do's and don'ts on the boards of the college, on the boards of the hospital? Because sometimes patients are unaware of their duties are unaware of their responsibilities. They may speak very arrogantly with the doctors. So similarly, doctors will also speak very rudely, very arrogantly with the patients. Sometimes doctors, while doing a surgery, because of their negligence or because of some other aspects, the patient may die. The attendants of this patient will start attacking the doctors. There are instances where due to negligence of the doctors, it has lost the lives of many people. Similarly, when the doctors have acted in a negligent manner, many of the people have in turn attacked the doctors, that led to the death of the doctors. So in the hospitals also, we need a peace and harmony. So because there are different strata of people are coming into the hospitals, and they are having they are having experience in the hospital. So in order to overcome that, in order to bring peace and harmony in the hospitals, we need certain things which are called as do's and don'ts. As we discussed in the college, as we discussed in the hospital, so let us speak about the country. Let us speak about the country. What kind of people are there in the country? So there are people in the country who belong to different languages. So the people belonging or people are having different languages. There are people who belongs to different religions. There are people who belonging to different religions. So there are people who are belonging to different regions. So languages, religions, regions, and there are also people belonging to different castes. So in India, the people residing in Jammu Kashmir may not be similar to people residing in Kerala. The people residing in Arunachal Pradesh may not be similar to the people residing in Gujarat. The culture of Telangana state people may be different from the culture of Andhra people. So that means within the country there existing a huge diversity. Within the country there existing a huge diversity. When there existing a this much huge diversity, so among this diverse people, we need a set of regulations. We need a set of rules and regulations among all the people in this country. This set of rules and regulations are written nothing but in the Constitution. So in this Constitution, the set of rules and regulations that is required to govern the country will be present in the Constitution. So most of the times, if I ask the people what exactly is the subject polity, people will say that polity is nothing but study of the Constitution, or polity is nothing but the study of politics. We will receive various answers from the people, but one of them is nothing but the study of the Constitution. So polity means indirectly studying the Constitution. So fine, Constitution is nothing but the set of rules and regulations that are required to govern the country. Then the provisions in the Constitution. So the concepts in the Constitution, the provisions in the Constitution are written in the form of an articles. The provisions in the Constitution are written in the form of an articles. For suppose, if I dictate you something, whenever I am teaching something, or else whenever I am making the students to write something, some people will keep arrow marks, some people will keep star mark, some people will write with A, B, C, some people will keep Roman letters, some people just dot it, and some people will write in the form of a paragraph. So it all depends on the will of the people in which manner they want to write it in their notes. Similarly, while writing the Constitution, the provisions are written in the form of an articles, like arrow mark, star mark, A, B, C, D, Roman letters, paragraph, each and every point written in the form of an articles, like article 1, like article 1, article 2, article 3, article 4, article 5, so on up to article 395. So the total number of articles present in the Indian Constitution is nothing but the 395. But some people will be having a doubt that there are not 395 articles. There might be 448 according to the Google, or there might be 465 according to the Google, or 478, 481, 471. Likewise, there are various answers with respect to the number of articles. But the number mentioned beside the articles, every time, the number mentioned beside the articles is always 395. The last number mentioned beside the article is nothing but the 395. But later on, new articles got added. So after these new articles, the strength increased to 470. In some books you can find it as 488, 485, 448, 430, 460 also you can able to find. But the accurate answer is nothing but there are 471 articles after Constitutional Amendment Act 2021. 105th Constitutional Amendment Act 2021. So likewise, so Indian Constitution requires certain rules and regulations for governing the country. Those rules and regulations are written in the form of articles. These articles are 398, 395 in number, but if you count them, that is 475. Okay, so counting is different and the number mentioned beside them is different. For suppose if you see, there is article 19, 19 1A, 1B, 1D, 1E, 1F. So 19 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F. Similarly, there is an article 19.2 which speaks about reasonable restrictions of the article 19. So A, F and also Roman letters 1 and 2. So the way you are counting, the numbers will also automatically varies. For suppose if you take article 39 you can see 39A to 39F. Similarly, in the article 39 itself there is a capital A. So small a, capital A, Roman letters, paragraphs in this wise, there are various things that are present in the Indian Constitution. That is why Indian Constitution is said to be as bulkiest constitution in the world, because it contains a lot of articles, lot of provisions. Why did a lot of articles, a lot of provisions got added? Means because of in order to overcome the confusion with respect to the articles, in order to bring clarity with respect to articles, this has brought. Next, after the articles, articles which are of same nature. Articles which are of same nature are arranged into something called as parts. Articles which are of same nature are arranged into something called as parts. For suppose, as I told you, numbered articles, there are 395 numbered articles. These 395 articles were arranged into 22 parts. In order to explain these parts and the nature articles, I'll just go back to your social textbooks. In your social texts, you would have found that there is a unit 1, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. There is a unit 2, that is chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7, unit 3. So chapter 8, chapter 9. Okay, likewise. So that means in the first unit there are 4 chapters, in the second unit there are 3 chapters, and the third unit there are 2 chapters. That means the chapters which are of same nature were arranged into one particular part. Similarly, the article, so the chapters which are of same nature were arranged into same proper unit. Similarly, the articles which are of same nature were arranged into parts of the Indian Constitution. For suppose, Article 1 to Article 4 is present in Part 1 of the Indian Constitution. Article 5 to Article 11, citizenship, this is present in Part 2 of the Indian Constitution. Article 12 to Article 35 is present in the fundamental rights of the Indian Constitution, that is Part 3. And similarly, Article 36 to 51, this is present as a part of a DPSP. And see, so totally So these are present in part 4 of the Indian Constitution, and within this there is a part 4A which is called as fundamental duties. So this is present in the article 51A of the Indian Constitution. So likewise, they are substituting the existing articles with the newly articles rather than adding the new article at last. They are just adding the new articles in the midst of the constitution. Okay, so that is the meaning of the articles, and that is nothing but the parts. So at present, how many parts are there in the Indian Constitution? At present, how many parts are there in the Indian Constitution? That means if you count them, there are 25 parts in the Indian Constitution. But if you look at the number mentioned beside them, that is nothing but 22. See, if you Google Article 23, if you Google Article 24, if you Google Article 25, you will not get the answer. Why? Because even Google also don't know that one. So, but if you count them, there are 25. But if you go through the numbers mentioned beside them, the last part will be 22. For suppose, see, if there is a part 4, which is nothing but DPSPs. Similarly, one more part got added to this one itself, that is nothing but the fundamental. Similar part 9, so 9A, which is nothing but municipalities. Part 9A, which is nothing but municipalities. Similarly, part 9B, this is nothing but cooperative societies. 9B. Okay, so 9A and 9B. So 14, there is also article 14A, which is called as tribunals. So 22, this one is 23, 24, 25 and 26. So if you count them, the number increased to 26. But what happened is, that is in the year 1956, 7th Constitutional Amendment Act. 7th Constitutional Amendment Act has repealed seventh part of the Indian Constitution. Which part of the Indian Constitution got repealed, or else which part has been removed from the Indian Constitution? That is nothing but the 7th part. So 26 minus 1, that equal to 25 parts. 26 minus 1, that equal to 25 parts. So Indian Constitution consists of articles. Articles were arranged into the parts which are of the same nature. Apart from these articles, there is another aspect which is called as schedules. So in the Indian Constitution, at the beginning of the Constitution, that is around 1950, January 26, during the beginning of the Constitution, there used to be 8 schedules. But later on, slowly, in the year 1951, through First Constitutional Amendment Act, so Article 15.3 got edited, and ninth schedule, which is related to the land reforms. Ninth schedule, which is related to the land reforms, got added in 1951. Okay, now, so First Constitutional Amendment Act, ninth schedule got added. Initially 8 schedules, 9th schedule got added. Similarly, in 1985, through 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act, 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act, anti-defection law came into existence. So hence 10th schedule got added in 1985 through 52nd Amendment Act. Similarly, in 1992, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 11th schedule came into existence. This 11th schedule is nothing but panchayats. 11th schedule is nothing but panchayats. Next, in 1992 itself, one more bill came into existence, that is 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. This one will speak about 12th schedule, and here it will speak about municipalities. It will speak about municipalities. So one thing the students should keep in mind, number of articles and the countable articles is different. Parts with respect to the number behind the parts and with respect to the count is different, but with respect to schedule, the number is 12 and the count is also 12. There are 12 schedules and there are 12 schedules if you count them. So initially there are 8 schedules, but later on 1, 2, 3, 4 schedules got added, and the number of schedules got increased to 12 schedules. See, what is the purpose of the schedules? What is the purpose of the schedules? Already Indian Constitution is considered as one of the bulkiest constitution. So even after that, so our Indian Constitution is mostly made up of the lawyers. They want to bring very much clarity in all the articles. So in a process of bringing the articles, they have explained each and every provision in a more elaborative manner. So that is why again this schedules, what the schedules will say is that they will explain about, they will say that they are the most elaborate explanation of the articles. So already existing articles are there. To that articles only, if they want to give more elaboration, the more elaboration or explanation of the articles is nothing but the schedules. So how many schedules are there? Means there are 12 schedules in the Indian Constitution, but initially there are 8 schedules in the Indian Constitution. Next. So after completion of this schedule, we have discussed the Constitution, we have discussed articles, we have discussed schedules. And see, in this schedules I am asking you, or else before that I will just go through one more thing, which is nothing but the amendment. Amendment procedure. See, the word amendment seems to be a bit difficult, or else it seems like it's a very hard word. But the word amendment simply means to say nothing but the changes. Amendment ante enti? That is nothing but changes. Whatever the changes that were brought to the Constitution, we will simply call it as an amendment. See, whenever you are changing the Constitution, whenever you are changing the Constitution, for every change you want to make to the Constitution, it has to be amended. Constitution has to be amended. Constitution ki manam chese marpulane rajyanga savarana amendment ani pilustam. So that is why enduku. So what is the significance of this amendment? I'll just tell you. For suppose, see, Indian Constitution that has came in the year 1950 Jan 26th, and what is this? 2022 around May, June. So this 2022 June, May, likewise if you go on discussing this one, so the time has been lapsed. So the situations present in 1950 are not present in 2022. Situations have changed a lot, lifestyles have changed a lot, but the Constitution of 1950, will that be applicable even in this 2022? Yes, the Constitution is applicable even in the year 2022 also, provided that you have to make changes to the Constitution. Because of the process called as amendment, our Constitution is still called as a living document. Our Constitution is still called as a living document. Why is it called as a living document? We are changing the Constitution as per our needs, or else as per our requirements. We are changing the Constitution. So that is the meaning of amendment. And see, if you want to change the Constitution, but if you don't want to write that in the Constitution, then it will definitely have no significance at all. Why is that means? For suppose if you take in the year 2014, when Telangana state is going to get divided from the Andhra Pradesh, then opposition person Venkaiah Naidu, he have asked that yes, you are giving Telangana, it's fine, but it is going to definitely impact the Andhra Pradesh, but for that we need a special category status. Manmohan Singh said that okay, special category status we are going to give you, that is granted. Then Venkaiah Naidu asked for 10 years. Manmohan Singh said that okay, I'll give it for 10 years also. But ippati varaku, so far, no special category status have been declared to the state of Andhra Pradesh. Why? Because in the 2014 State Reorganization Act, there is no written statement. There is no written statement about the special category status. Similarly, if you are borrowing certain amount from your friend, for suppose, if yourself you are giving money to your friend around 5 lakh rupees, you are not having any proof, you just gave him in a cash format, then you just gave him in the cash format, you are not at all written anything as a proof. Then after 1 month, if you go on asking your friend, so can you adjust me 5 lakh rupees? If your friend says that, when did you give me 5 lakh rupees? And suddenly if he calls you, who are you? Then what you can do? Do you have any possibilities? Can you go to the police station? Can you file a case? You can't do anything. Why you can't do anything? Why? Because you don't have any proof at all. There is no written proof that you have given 5 lakh rupees to your friend, and your friend is also denying that you have given him the money. So, but instead, if you have given your friend 5 lakh rupees by having a proper statement, by having a proper, clear-cut understanding, saying that I have given 5 lakh rupees to my friend on so and so interest, and on the on the trust that he is going to repay back after 5 months, definitely your friend will definitely going to give the amount back to you. So that is the thing. If there is any written proof, then definitely it will be having some authenticity. If there is no written proof, there won't be any authenticity. Similarly, if you want to change the constitution, you have to change it. For suppose, if you changing it for the first time, you can call it as the first Constitutional Amendment Act. If you are doing it for the second time, you can call it as the second Constitutional Amendment Act. If you are changing it for the third time, you will call it as a third Constitutional Amendment Act. So far, how many amendments taken place so far? That is nothing but not fifth Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 2021. So, whenever you are changing in the constitution, even though for suppose the present Prime Minister, if he is bringing any changes, the next coming Prime Minister may not completely obey or may not completely follow the directions given by the present Prime Minister. But if the same Prime Minister makes that in the constitution, if the same Prime Minister writes that in the constitution, if he makes sure or else if he ensures writing that in the constitution, the next coming Prime Ministers will also definitely obey that rule. So that is the significance of the amendment. So that is why, so I told you very clearly, comparing, if you don't write anything, that doesn't have any value at all. If you write anything, that will definitely have the value. So if you are changing the constitution for the first time, means you have to mention it as the first. Number is required for any amendment. And see, at a time you can make one change, at a time you can make 2 changes, you can make 3 changes, you can make 50 changes, or you can make any number of changes at a time. For only one amendment, through only one amendment, you can make only one change. You can also able to make 100 changes also, no problem. And in a year, there can be 1 time amendment, there can be 2 times amendment, there can be 5 times, or there can be 10 times also. So 1 time you can change only 1 provision, 1 time you can also make 100 changes also. So, but every change, the number will change. In the 1 year itself, if you are changing the constitution separately for 3 times, then first, second, third, fourth, fifth Constitutional Amendment Act. In one session only, you are completely discussing all the provisions. Then definitely that will come under only one Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, I hope you understood the exact meaning of the amendment. So from now onwards, while discussing any other topics, rather than explaining about the amendment, I'll just say first amendment, second amendment, fourth amendment, 10th amendment, 15th amendment, etc. This amendment procedure we will be studying very clearly in the further classes. But to this extent, just believe only this one. Okay, so, and moreover, So I am just winding up. In our entire lecture, we have discussed what is the constitution set of rules and regulations and what is the articles, these rules and regulations written in the form of an articles, and what is the schedules. More elaborate explanation of the articles is nothing but the schedules, and what is the amendment. Whenever you want to make any changes to the constitution, I am calling that as an amendment. So after this amendment, one time you can make one changes, two times you can make a second time you can make a second change. So but at a time you can make one change, at a time you can make 10 changes also. In a year there can be 2 to 3 amendment also, no problem at all. So this is what I explained you very clearly. I will also provide you the notes, and if you have any doubts with respect to this lecture and with respect to the further lectures, you can also keep posting in our applications. Whatever the application you have downloaded, there you will be having a comment section or discussion section. You can post your questions over there. I will be answering those questions. Okay, I hope you have understood this lecture in a perfect manner. This is foundational class 1, and we will be coming up with another foundational class 2, where we will be discussing other aspects related to the constitution. Okay, so that's all for this lecture. Thank you guys.